But what about people who aren't Christian? What about people who are either agnostic or atheists, or who aren't, again, like how do they get involved?
Well, I mean, like I'll work with anybody to end abortion, right? So you don't have to be a Christian to end abortion.
Right.
But at a certain level, I think you're gonna have to ask. I mean, so here's the way. One way I can answer that is like at a certain level, like I held mangled third trimester aborted babies.
And this Justice for the Five.
So there's just no way to look at a baby that's been brutally treated that way and not realize that this is utterly demonic. And so, look, I'll take anybody that wants to help me end child killing from a political perspective, but buckle up along the way, because you're going to realize that this issue isn't like any other issue. Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven belongs to little babies, little children. And abortion is a full frontal assault on the kingdom of God, because children belong the kingdom. And so I don't know personally how you can get involved with and see the supernatural type of an evil and not realize that there's demonic realm behind it.
Well, I will tell you that, again, especially in the last couple of years during COVID, with what happened with me and the church, that I was going far from the church. I mean, I didn't have a church. I didn't even know where to go. And everything that they were doing was antithetical to anything I'd ever learned. And I couldn't even go if I wanted to, because I'm like, this is not even this doesn't represent anything that we stand for or we believe in. And so, but I will say, when you see these things what you're mentioning, when you see adults, putting children on the sacrificial altar of science and equity and compassion, right? This was, again, manipulation of language. And you see there's no other explanation than, again, the murdering, the dismembering, the sterilization, the mutilation. Am I talking about abortion? Am I talking about gender affirming healthcare? Am I talking about COVID? Am I talking about forcibly forcing parents or convincing parents that they need to enroll their children in clinical trials of a never before experimented or used in human beings injection? What am I talking about? I don't know. It's all the same.
It's all wrapped up together. Absolutely.
It's all wrapped up together. And so I hope, it's not a religious, it isn't even, it is, right? Okay. So it is, in my opinion, when you see these parents and these adults talking about children the way that they do, whether it's for money or for, all of the reasons that it can be, they're to me, it is demonic. It is the modern day. You and Seth talk about it all the time. It's the modern day sacrificing to the Moloch, on the gilded altars, throwing them in the fires. Again, and they're doing it because they think that they have to do it. It's no different than it was then. They're like, you must throw your babies into the fire for the betterment of society. You must inject them with this mRNA technology that's never been tested before in humans, that killed all of the ferrets in the experiments. They literally just imploded. Their immune systems just ate them alive from the inside out. You must do this for the betterment of society. You must sacrifice your child. You must sacrifice your child to this transgender, because they've convinced parents that you have to kill your baby because you could never provide your baby with a safe, loving, supportive home. You are a single mom. You are uneducated. You don't have the financial resources. No one will love you. You'll have to sacrifice your career. So to me, when you look at all of this, it's all, again, spiraled into the same realization that this is satanic. It is demonic. And when you see this full frontal attack on children who are the most vulnerable, regardless of whether you're Christian or not, you have to know that it's evil.
Yeah. And so real quick on that. So it doesn't have to be a religious issue, but on another front, like foundationally, it has to be a religious issue. And what I mean by that is, science can tell you when life begins, but it can't tell you why life is valuable. And so if you don't value human life as a society, or if you think that certain human beings can be killed just because we determined societally that that's okay, then it becomes a religious issue. It becomes a foundational philosophical issue that underpins morality. And so that's why it becomes a religious issue. And that's why I think that it has to be a Christian issue. It has to be a religious issue, because the only foundation, you have to have an objective foundation for why it's always wrong to kill human beings, and why it's always wrong to kill every single type of human being. If you lose that, all you have is might equals right, and society determines morality.
Okay, so morality, your position is that morality can only be based in religion.
Objectively based on an objective lawgiver. So like you really only have two.
It's hard to have this debate because to interrupt you, because I'm literally writing as you are saying this. Okay. Because our laws were based again on these Christian principles. I mean, people want to pretend that this is not a Christian country. It is. So we can't even parse out laws from morality, just personal, values and principles, because even our laws are based in this Christian foundation. So we don't even have, in our culture, in our society, in our American society, we don't even have an objective that's not based in Christianity and these religious philosophical principles. But what I was thinking was, is there anything that I can think of right now that guides my morals or my ethics other than what I learned growing up Catholic in the Catholic Church? Is there anything that I believe or feel that isn't at its root based in that? So that's what I was thinking. That's what.
Like there's no neutrality. No one's a blank slate. Everyone has biases and consciences that have been determined and influenced by their environment, their culture, and their upbringing. And so when you study the history of humanity, child sacrifice, and not just unborn children, born children, has been the status quo. I mean, it has existed prolifically in every single culture that's ever existed. I mean, it's, if you don't believe me on this, I mean, just read The Third Time Around by George Grant.